What up, Dokkaners? So you might have noticed last night I didn't make a video on the data download because there really wasn't much to talk about. Figured I wouldn't waste your time on it because it was 2 megabytes and it was basically just the fruit of the tree of might being regressed or reverted down to the leftovers version. But then we got some interesting pieces of news that happened that, you know what, I figured we'd talk about, so I might as well just throw this in here. So this is going to be a 3-part video. First, we're going to talk about this, fruit of the tree of might. Then we're going to talk about the Tanabata live broadcast. There is a reformatting that is going to be taking place, and a new emergency live broadcast that's going to be happening, which sounds worse than it is, but that's actually what they call it. So don't freak out. That's just what they're calling it. It's nothing like that. So let's go ahead and just start from the top here with this. We had a 2 megabyte data download last night in the game. This was obviously for the reversion process of turning the steroid monster cell that is the 200% boosting ripe fruit of the tree of the might of the tree, right? And now they are going to be reducing it down to the 20% attack and defense for 1 turn leftovers version. This is actually, when I was thinking about it, this is still cool, but actually this is an inferior version of an item that already exists. I don't know if you guys use this item too much. I do for Festival of Battles, but otherwise I don't use it too much outside of that. The Bulma item is basically what that is, but better, because it's 3 turns of it. So if you guys are looking for an item that can do what that leftover version does, but better, use this. But still, go ahead and use that item now. Whatever event you're trying to do, you can, feel free to try that if you have more of those than the Bulma. I would, just maybe keep 1, because as of right now, there's no way to farm it out. So if you just kind of want to like hold on to a relic from the past, that'd be a good idea just to hold on to the 1. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up this segment of the video. The only thing is, like, I'm sure some people are kind of confused as to why the data download would only be this and not everything else listed in here. The obvious reason for this, if we were to take a guess, it would be just simply because this event would house the new character, which would just spoil the whole thing. So in the interest of not spoiling the Tanabata Celebration LR, they probably didn't want to have this in the data download. But what's odd is that this could have just been its own thing. Having this together was what makes it odd. And I think I took exception to this in the previous video, because like this seems a little premature to be dropping this stuff so early, considering we already know the start time of the celebration, which is going to be on the 28th. Because looking at the scrolling banners at the bottom of the screen, but on the home, like on the login screen where you tap to log in, the Transcendent Dokkan campaign thing is set to expire on the 28th, because then it will show up inside the main menu. So that's where we know the Tanabata celebration is going to be starting. So why would they drop this as early as they did? I don't know. It's weird. They've been very weird as of late when it comes to like data download stuff. I think the general rule of thumb that a lot of the data miners would say is like each week you have 1 data download, right? But lately we've been having multiple data downloads. Things have been happening out of order, last minute unexpected sort of thing. So I guess just, chalk this up as another one of those like anomalies. I don't know. That's the best I got. So as far as this data download is concerned, I would say at the earliest after the live reveal, that is when they're going to give us the data download, because at that point, once we know what the LR is, we know the type, we know what the characters can do. At that point, it doesn't matter to hide it. So after the broadcast, we will get this. That's my prediction. So that's it for this first section. Let's jump into the next one. This actually speaks on the live broadcast, because as of up until now, we were expecting the live broadcast to be happening at the time that it was given. Made a whole video talking about it. But if you go click on that link now, it is unavailable. And the reason for this is because of some inclement weather. Due to an approaching typhoon in Japan, the Scorching Onslaught Transcendent Dokkan campaign live broadcast, originally scheduled to air live, will now be presented as a video. It is still set to drop at the same time. The viewing URL will be announced on Twitter at a later date. So we don't have the video link as of yet, but they're basically just recording this early to avoid, safety issues, which is good. And this is now probably the second time in terms of my memory. I don't know if there's been another one. Maybe was there an earthquake one? But this is the second time in recent memory that something like this has had to happen, where they've had to make adjustments accounting for weather issues or, like environmental issues. Last year, I believe it was for Summer Games. No, not Summer Games. What's the one that happens in LA? Battle Hour. Dragon Ball Battle Games Battle Hour, whatever the hell. That one had to be canceled because my hometown was set on fire, which was great. And yeah, because of that, they postponed. I don't know what they postponed exactly. It was just like a Dokkan reveal stream, I think, and then they just made it a video. Oh wait, was that the community fest? I don't remember. It's late, but whatever. Point is, they're just doing this to be safe, which is good. I would rather they just, be safe. which sucks because there's no live broadcast. But the silver lining, if there were to be any silver lining from this, is that if there's going to be a video scheduled, we can figure out how long the video is going to be. And if we know how long the video is going to be, it could give us a slight hint as to what the character could be like. And when I say that, I mean, like, if the video were to be 15 minutes long, then it's probably a quick straight up announcement going over some news and then going over the character and some EZAs, but the character details wouldn't be that long to warrant, you know, only a 15-minute video. It'd be a very short segment. Whereas if the video were 50 minutes long or over an hour long, then that's probably either because there are some major in-game announcements regarding new modes or new quality of life changes, or the character segment just takes that long because there are that many passives, there are that many animations, attacks, leader skills, and all that stuff to consider. Could that mean a dual Dokkan festival? Could that mean a reversible exchange unit with just a bunch of effects? Those are the types of things that we can sort of kind of take away from it. Doesn't guarantee that it's going to be those things, but it kind of gives you an indication. Which is why recently, when we've been having like reversible exchange characters in the kits, the animation and the character info segments have just been longer. So that could give us an idea. My personal guess is that it's going to be, if it's not going to be Orange Piccolo alone, it'll be an Orange Piccolo Beast Gohan reversible exchange. It just seems too good to not do that. So that's my guess. And if it were to be that, that would probably take up about a 15-20 minute segment just going over the Beast Gohan portion, the Orange Piccolo portion, all the animations, all the character assets, all that good stuff. All right. So yeah, that is maybe the only good thing to take away from that. But still, I mean, safe wishes for everyone who's living in that area. Hopefully by the time the storm approaches land, like when it makes landfall, it's not as severe. But prayers up to all those, all you residents in the Japan area. So that is the second portion of the video. And this is the confusing third portion of the video. So we just talked about how they had to reformat the live broadcast, right? Because of the impending storm. Well, turns out they've got another live stream that's happening before that, which is weird. So this was actually announced an hour after this reformatting thing was announced, 2 a.m. June 25th. And then 3 a.m. June 25th, they show us this. 100 million Metal Coolers Takedown broadcast. Emergency live stream starts at 3 PST on this 26th of June. So this is happening at the beginning of the 26th in my time zone. So 4 a.m. my time, we are going to be watching this live stream. And then 9 p.m. So what is that, 17 hours later, the other thing would happen, which is going to wreak havoc on my sleep, but it is what it is. For the 100 million Metal Coolers takedown, GEPPY, the producer of Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, will be doing a takedown stream. It'll keep going until 100 million are defeated. What? Are we serious? We need everyone's help to defeat all 100 million Metal Coolers. Join the battle and fight alongside us. No new game information will be announced during this live stream. So that takes care of that one question that you might have right then and there. Is there going to be any hints or anything? No. It is just about business. It is just about clearing this. Now, the fact that they're doing this, there's a couple of angles that we can approach here. The first is that I've been pretty cynical about this whole process because I just kind of thought that they were fudging with the numbers. And I kind of thought that this was just a goal that we've already reached, and they've kind of just been dragging this out sort of for the spectacle of it all. And that could still very well be the case. But the fact that they're doing a live stream for this is interesting. If you don't consider this one detail that I'm about to share, it could actually just be a genuine thing that they're trying to do to help us reach the goal because we're actually failing, and we're failing badly. The last time that they gave us an update as far as the count, it was like 78 million, and that was maybe, I think, like 2 days ago. So we're not doing well in terms of reaching the goal because the goal is in 2 days. So the fact that this is happening tomorrow means there's basically 1 day left until the goal, until the whole thing ends. So we kind of have to, you know, haul ass a little bit. So the fact that he is going to be leading the charge is cool. Question is, how many people are going to be involved? But now let's talk about that one detail that I hadn't yet mentioned in the video. And that is this. So I talked about this in one of my daily Turles meme videos. So some of you guys might not have watched those videos because those were titled differently. It's got like joke thumbnails and stuff. But during those videos, I did briefly touch upon this little thing right here because comparing new bonus event that's scheduled for the 27th, it seems the only difference is that it has no temp limits. So basically, they did some weird backend stuff with this Metal Cooler link level boosted stage where there is a version of this event now in the database where there's no attempt restriction. So I originally thought that this meant that they were going to be doing something where this event potentially becomes a permanent fixture in Dokkan, similar to the Grand Elder Guru event, where you would use blue keys to access the event up to once per day in the Portal of Memories. That was my original thought. Starting from the 27th, this was going to be the new thing. But now, because of the fact that the storm is approaching, maybe they're starting this early and they're going to have to change the timestamp on that attempts limit being lifted. And maybe that's what this is all about. So instead of it just being sort of an impromptu thing where GEPPY is kind of helping us, you know, reach the goal, maybe this is actually just moving up the timeline on the thing that they were originally planning on doing, which is this. June 27th, 4:30 GMT. What time does that translate to for me? Yeah, that means June 26th, 9:30 p.m. So that's 30 minutes after the broadcast was supposed to start. So I think maybe they were trying to get both of these things in at this. Well, yeah, that's why this is the live broadcast. I think that's actually what this was. Maybe. I think this was supposed to not only be the Tanabata thing, but to also wrap up the cooler stuff. And that would be when we start this. And then they would do this like fun little thing with the chat. But now they've had to make a separate stream where they do this. Either that, or this was always planned and they forgot to remove this from their scheduled tweets because of the impending storm. Because my question is, depending on what exactly is going on here and how exactly we're going to be reaching this goal, it says they are not going to be ending until 100 million has been defeated. So if that's the case, if there's a time limit because of the upcoming storm, the typhoon, how long are they actually allowed to stay on? So I have some personal questions there. I don't really know how this is all going to play out, but regardless, we're going to be there for it. So I will be going live at 4 in the morning, probably a little bit earlier so that I can actually be conscious for it. But yeah, that's what's going on here. So if you want to help us reach the goal, then make sure you guys join in for that. I will be doing my part. If you want to do your part, you can. If not, hey man, just stick around and watch. Hang out on the stream with me, keep me some company, and we'll see what happens. But that's all we've got. So it's very confusing, very weird, very interesting. I hope everyone in Japan stays safe, and I don't know what the hell's going on with all this stuff. I guess we're gonna have multiple streams and videos happening in basically the span of 24 hours. So it should be fun in terms of news. Overall, this Metal Cooler celebration was very fun, incredibly rewarding, and unironically surprisingly engaging. So ending it on something like this, you know, circumstances aside, is actually a pretty cool treat. And I hope that in the future they can do this level of effort more often for more monthly, aka, you know, for lack of a better phrase, forgettable celebrations. I think that this is a step in the right direction to make these boring off-season celebrations feel less off-season. I'm sure people still felt that way, but I'm sure it was far less collectively than it might have been for previous ones. Like last year's Cell and PyCon. Oof, that was miserable. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below, leave in the comments your thoughts on all of this stuff that we've got coming up. The Fruit of the Tree of Might reversion thing. What are your thoughts on the new item and what it does? Are you going to be saving at least one copy for yourself? What are your thoughts on the reformatting of the Tanabata thing? Would you prefer, in general, it be a live stream, or are you okay with it being a video? And then the last thing is, the Metal Cooler thing. Have you guys been trying to actually help us reach the goal, or have you not really tried? Will this change things for you? Will you actually join the live stream with me, and will you actually try to help us reach the goal? Let me know your thoughts. Anything else that I've missed in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future, and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you want to see more of my stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and always remember to Dokkan responsibly.